Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about Fernando Tatis Jr. and, for that matter, the San Diego Padres baseball team. Let's talk Padres first, then we'll jump into Fernando. They made a whole bunch of trades. They got Soto, they got Bell, they made some other trades for pitchers. Let's face it, they're doing it Atlanta Braves and the Los Angeles Rams. I think the Rams started a trend here in all sports. We trade a bunch of draft picks and lower level players, whatever you want to call it. In baseball's case, a stream of minor leaguers for some established superstars, bring in big names, pay them big money. And the Braves showed, the Rams showed last Super Bowl that they could win the Super Bowl. And then last October, the Atlanta Braves were so-so in the playoff race. Made a whole bunch of trades by the trade deadline, brought in a whole bunch of people, and guess what? They win the World Series. So everyone, face it, in sports, everyone follows someone else. If they see them succeeding with a certain method, they do the same thing. So everybody in baseball says, "Oh, look at these Braves. They traded all these prospects and whatever, and some cash, got all these big name guys, came in, win the World Series. We should do the same." And it looks to me like the Padres did the same. So we'll see how they're not in the playoff. Well, they're in the playoff race. They're not officially in the playoffs right now for qualifying, but they're darn close. So that leads to a blurb here. Talk about Fernando Tatis Jr., who just got suspended. Their superstar shortstop, who's been injured all year, is close to playing. They're not sure how he's going to recover, or how well he will play once he comes back, but he just got suspended for 80 games anyways, which is going to take him into next year. So the rest of this regular season, if they get in the playoffs, the Padres get in the playoffs, and then into the regular season next year, ouch, right? Ouch for everybody. And he got suspended for a banned steroid called clostebol. And, his dad came on the midday show, Fernando Tatis Sr., who played like 11 years in the major leagues, and said, he had a ringworm problem on his neck. So he got a spray, and he sprayed it, and the spray happened to have this steroid. In fact, there's two main ingredients in this spray, clostebol, which is an anabolic steroid, and then the other one is neomycin, an antibiotic. So the question becomes, let's face it, everybody's thinking Fernando Tatis Jr., he's a cheater, he's just like all the others, performance-enhancing drugs, he should be banned for life, blah, 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 blah. Well, as far as I can tell, this is the only time they found a banned substance when they test, type of thing. And both Senior and Junior are saying, hey, I had ringworm on my neck. I used the spray while in the Dominican Republic. It's not a spray that's sold in the USA, and it contained, one of the ingredients was this thing. So it's hard to know, was he trying to cheat or was he not trying to cheat? Half will say yes, half will say no. Glass half empty, glass half full. Well, speaking of full, guess what's here still? These little, see if they still, yep, they still bounce. Still make the blinkety, blinkety, blinkety. Yeah, so I'll just, I guess I'll give you my own opinion here. Personally, I don't think he was trying to cheat. I think it was an innocent use. We see this happening throughout all the sports. Okay, DeAndre Hopkins got suspended for 6 games, 8 games, whatever. Same thing, banned substance. He came out and said, I would never cheat. I always give it my all. I was an innocent use. I wasn't aware this drug was in there. Blah, 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 blah. Plus, if it's just a spray, right, if you look at how much can a steroid in a spray enhance your performance? The answer, it isn't, unless you drink it. Somehow you convert it to a liquid and just drink it type of thing. So DeAndre Hopkins is so talented. I don't even believe for a minute that this was a deliberate use of a steroid with a banned drug with intent. I also don't believe that Tatis deliberately used it to try to get a performance-enhancing edge over anybody else. Had a ringworm, treat it, it was in it. So but the question is, since so many athletes are getting burned and suspended, the sports world, given all the steroid use in years prior, let's talk Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds here. Some of which came out and admitted it, and some don't admit to anything. They have a zero tolerance policy. We don't care how you got it. We don't care if it's this much or this much or this much. If you have it in any trace amount, any amount at all, we're going to ban you. And that's what's, in my opinion, what's happening here. So the question becomes, how does Major League Baseball, and let's just say the Players Union, how do they get on the same page and make sure these players are not getting burned by using the banned substance? Obviously, they want to catch cheaters. If they're cheating, they should catch them. So you need a system. But a guy using the spray to treat a condition, what's the system in place? And I'm sure Major League Baseball will probably say, well, we list everything we ban on our website, or the players should know it, et cetera, et cetera. But have you ever read the labels on these things? They've got 18 million drugs that only a pharmacist, probably an experienced pharmacist, would even know what they are. Players are players; they're not pharmacists. But they do have a responsibility to be aware of what they take in. But there's so much stuff, from supplements to medications to sprays, that maybe have a small amount in, but it shows up in the system and they get burned. So I don't know the answer. The players have to take responsibility. Major League system, I'm sure, says, well, we educate them and we have seminars, et cetera, et cetera. I know that football players have been burned buying drugs down in, not drugs, medications or sprays, pills, supplements, whatever you want, down in the Dominican Republic before. So maybe you should not use something from there. Or maybe if you're going to use a spray or whatever, maybe Major League Baseball has a team of doctors or their own pharmacists. You could call them up, send them a picture of the label, and say, am I going to get in trouble? I don't know what the answer is. I don't blame Major League Baseball for having a zero tolerance policy, because if people cheat, it ruins the integrity of the game, right? So that's a tough one. But hopefully they'll learn, and they can. Players will learn, the union will learn, Major League Baseball will learn that hopefully they can come up with a better system so this happens less often. So one of the things I want to talk about too is, like if you look at Barry Bonds and even McGwire, well, McGwire cranked it on his first year type of thing. If you look at like their home, let's just look at some stats, okay? Numbers, some stats. I went and kind of dug up some stats on Fernando Jr. here, Fernando Tatis, and did a little math as well. He's only 23 years old. He's 6'3", 195 pounds. In 2019, he hit 22 homers, 53 RBIs. In 2020, here, I'll even give you the numbers I'm looking at. Right there. 2020, 59 homers at 224 at-bats. In 2019, he played 84 games, 334 at-bats, 22 homers, and 53 RBIs. In 2020, he played 59 games, at-bats 224, home runs 17, RBIs 45. In 2021, his rockin' year, 130 games played, 478 at-bats, 42 homers, and 97 RBIs. So you think, oh my God, let's look at those homers, 22, 17, 42. Wow, what a jump. He must have been cheating. Look at those RBIs, 53 to 97. He must have been cheating. But you could say the same thing about Roger Maris. I went and looked at his home run record, before he hit 61 homers in whatever it was, 1961. He had similar numbers, 17 homers, 15, 22, maybe 30, 32, 33. Then he jumps to 61 all of a sudden. Barry Bonds, he's got the same thing, type of thing. Some of the players, they're ultra consistent. Hank Aaron, Harmon Killebrew, 40, 42, 35 to 45 homers a year every year. But some of these players just jump. Like I said, Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, type of thing. So you think, oh my God, he goes from 22 homers down to 17, up to 42 last year. He has got to be cheating. But what I did is you got to understand that in 2019, he only played 84 games, and then 2020, 59, and 130 games in 2021. So what I did is I did a little simple math. It's not hard. And I extrapolated in all 3 years, if he played all 162 games, how many homers would he have hit for the whole year if he had played 162? Well, 2019, that translates to 42. You can see my math right here, right in the parentheses. Look at those parentheses there, numbers in parentheses. So in 2019, he would have hit 42 homers. 2020, 47. 2021, 52. That's not a giant leap. I mean, this shows he's very consistent, unless he was cheating, but they do drug testing all the time. He's a very consistent, high-level player. So that's why I'm giving him a break. I don't see, he's making this massive jump, even if you do the math type of thing. Now back to Roger Maris. You can make a case, wait a second. Barry Bonds went from, 20, 30 homers to whatever he hit, 70 type of thing, 66, 70. Roger Maris, like I said, he went from like 33 to 61. It's like, surely he must be cheating. But someone pointed out to me, well, think about it. In that year, who was batting right behind Roger Maris? One name, Mickey Mantle. And he was having a rocking year. I think Mickey Mantle hit like 50-some homers, 52, 56 homers. So they had to pitch to Roger Maris. That might explain a lot type of thing. And if you look at Roger Maris, he never hit anywhere near those homers again. But what I'm looking at here, and I'm not saying anything about Roger Maris. He was clean. That's well known. He's just a good player, great player. But if you just look at these numbers, Fernando Tatis Jr. is very consistent. Go back to DeAndre Hopkins. He's so talented, why would he ever need a performance-enhancing drug? If you look at how he works out and trains, he doesn't train like a guy who's using performance-enhancing drugs. So my opinion is, on Fernando Tatis Jr., and for that matter, DeAndre Hopkins, innocent use. It's an unfortunate truth that they got caught up in this web of zero tolerance. Yes, they have to be careful what they put in, but it's also very hard to always know what's in everything they're taking. Major League system will say, well, we have a system, and I'm sure they do. But my question is, the Major League Baseball Players Union, how can you improve that system? Can you have a doctor that anytime you take something, you call them? Or something. Scan the label, call them. Anyways, that's my opinion. It's unfortunate that a player of Fernando Tatis's ability will not be seen till well into next year. The other thing is he's got this whopping 14-year, $340 million contract. Is this going to affect that? And the other thing I just recently read is that he connected with a company, I'm not sure the name of it, when he was, developing as a player, and signed a contract such that that company gets a % of his earnings, so that he's not getting all $340 million. They're going to get a chunk of that simply because they invested him. That's fair type of thing. He's still going to be okay. But anyways, yeah, this whole drug thing, when you hear it, you're shocked and cheater, we make assumptions and judgments right off the bat. But I think you have to look deeper into the substance. What was it used for? Can he show what it was used for? I mean, his mom posted pictures of his ringworm on her Instagram account. It's a spray. I highly doubt using a spray for that's going to really enhance his performance. And then I'm looking at his track record. Very consistent track record. When you make the numbers talk apples and apples and not just apples and oranges here. So anyways, my 2 cents worth. You take care.